I want to start off today's lesson by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Kal, Halayim, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and the teachers at Great Millstone for teaching this word in truth and sincerity and who rule well. Today's lesson is entitled Numbers 20, a hindsight into the reoccurring. And more so it's just going to be a look at Numbers chapter 20. All right, so without further ado, let me begin. This is verse 1, Numbers chapter 20. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. So I looked at this word Zin, and we got this word 6790 from the Strong's Concordance. So it is a desert area which included Kadesh and Barnea. So from the exhaustive concordance, it gave me this: from an unused root meaning to prick. So in this desert of Zin, is known to prick. The word is to prick. And we all know it says Miriam died there. Now, when we go back to the word Miriam, that means rebellion. Miriam means rebellion. So we could reword this verse by saying, then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin. So this Zin is known for pricking. And who's trying to prick us now, okay? In the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and rebellion died there and was buried there. So in this wilderness of Zin, where they're trying to prick us, rebellion is going to die here and is going to get buried here, okay? Verse 2, and there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. So yeah, there was no water. So they gathered themselves together. And when we go back into Exodus chapter 2 and 10, how he got his name Moses was the Pharaoh's daughter who found him in the river, drew him out of there. So in Exodus 2 and 10, paraphrasing, he got his name because she drew him out of the waters. So this is a person that's get drawn from the waters. Now they're trying to come at him with murmuring and complaints, talking about get us some water. All right. And then when we go into Aaron, we go into the word Aaron, and because these people are gathering. Let me go back to that again. This is verse 2. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. So this is not the first time they gathered themselves up against Aaron. And we could go to, they described that in Acts chapter 7:40, and that was another verse 40, and that was another stirring up when Moses had went to the mountain to receive the laws and statutes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, and the congregation stirred up or came against Aaron, who was left with them, and they stirred him up to make a golden bull, which is a symbol of Baal. All right. So that's just false gods in rebellion. So once again, just like how was stated in the previous verse, rebellion will die here. All right. Salakim, I'm just looking at my notes, and according to the Thayer Greek lexicon, and the word Aaron, because it didn't really give me a whole lot on that name, but the Thayer Greek lexicon had a little something on it, and it was more so synonymous with the word wealthy and fluent and mountain. And when we go back into Genesis, I believe that's one of the reasons why Moses didn't want to be the head leader, because he wasn't fluent in speaking. He was slow of his tongue. He had some type of speech impediment. But continuing on, verse 3. And the people chode with Moses and spake, saying, would God, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh, that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord? So when we go back to this word chide, it means to scold or rebuke. So they're scolding and rebuking both Moses and Aaron. All right, verse 4. Talking about Salakim, let me finish this off. They're scolding and rebuking Moses and Aaron because they're talking about they led them out of Egypt, because these rebellious people want to go back to Egypt, and because of the lack of water and the lack of patience, because of lack of water and lack of patience, they're trying to go against the men of the Lord. So verse 4, and why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into the wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, so basically in verses 6 through 7, the leaders are seeking counsel from the Lord for administration purposes and management of the congregation. What will the judgment be? How will they handle this situation? Okay. All right. So verse 8, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts to drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? All right, so this is more so in today's standpoint, the leaders bringing into the light this truth, and to the unbelievers through the teachings and rebukes and exhortations, and to the people who are true believers and sincere believers, they're bringing comfort to the weary, bringing comfort to the weary, pursuant Matthew chapter 11 verse 28. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. All right, so let me move on. Let me get to some of my notes. So let's move on to verse 11. Salakia. And Moses lifted up his head, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. So right there, Moses is going off, because in verse 8, the Lord clearly tells Moses to speak to the rock. But as we see in this verse 11, he did not do so, but the rock still brought out water abundantly enough for the congregation and their animals to drink. All right. And the Lord, verse 12, and the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Yasharallah. Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So because of, the stiff-neckedness, because of them not listening, that was part of the curse that was put on them, or not a curse, but that was the punishment put on them for not adhering to the word of the Lord. So, Moses and Aaron represent today the leaders of our people. And today we have the right hand leaders that are set up, through the apostles and the elders of these camps, through these teachings. And then we have these left hand leaders, your pork chop eating pastors, your celebrities and everything tied and affixed to that's gonna make us go to the left. All right, so this is going back to that rock which was supposed to have been spoken to, but got struck by Moses. Okay, 2 times he struck that. And if you strike something, especially when asked not to be struck, that's offensive. So this kind of reminds me, we have to speak the Lord's name, Yahweh Yahweh Shai. But certain leaders in Israel use Christ, which carries that vibration of Jesus. So that's like 2 times striking Jesus Christ, which means earth pig and is highly offensive. So although these certain camps or leaders or teachers might bring out this water, they might bring out water abundantly, but they still are not calling on the true names of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. They're not calling on him, so they are smiting the rock, but they still feed their flock. But there's a penalty for that, and it is extreme, okay? Because even all that Moses did for doing that and for not believing, he was not able to lead the people into the promised land, okay? So let's go back into that. 11 and 12. This is verse 11. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So calling on the true names is not offensive, but calling on this Jesus Christ will offend the Lord. And this can be a punishment right here, because these leaders cause our people to err and cause our people to offend the Lord. But the leaders who have the knowledge of the names need to be bringing the true names out before these same things happen to you. In verse 12, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, because you believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Yasharallah, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. All right, verse 13. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. Yeah, this is the water of Meribah, and I think Meribah means affliction. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to continue. Verse 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom, thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travails that hath befallen us. Verse 15, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. All right, so So these things are happening now, but under the Edomite authority, pursuant to second Esdras 6 verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. And even going back to these verses 14 through 16, because we are in Revelation 13:16, which is the mark of the beast, which is the cusp of our kingdom. So when we go back to, where is it verse 15 or 16? And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and brought us out. Okay, and brought us out of Egypt, and behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. So that means the uttermost of thy border. That means we have to get through Edom to get to the promised land, okay? And that means we are at the end. We are at the end because we have to get through Edom. All right? And we are at the cusp because we are living in these last times, and we are in Revelation 13:16, the mark of the beast. All right, so let me continue at verse 17. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields, nor through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand or to the left until we have passed thy borders. So even in today's day, Jakes be having to ask permission for everything from this devil Esau. We will not do this. We will not do that. Everything is contractual with things you can do and things you can't do. And this is also signifying that we have to go through Edom to receive our inheritance. All right. Because we have to pass through them, all right? So verse 18, and Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. Hold on. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him, and the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came up to Mount Hor. So, even nowadays, we trying to get out of here, and we calling on the true names. We coming back to our inheritance, to our power, and Edom keep trying to have our people stuck. Literally by these vaccinations, by these enchantments, Black Lives Matters, by deception, all of these false flag missions, all of these psychological operations, in their stronghold they still have called the Christian church, the Catholic church, whatever you want to call it. And all of these other false religions and these new age ideologies, they trying to have us stuck while we trying to get out of here. And even it says we will not go through, but we will take the king's highway. We will not go through, but we will take the king's highway. And that reminded me of when you want to put it in today's terms, no, we're not going through Egypt. We will not go through Edom. We will not go through this doctrine, but we will take the king's highway. This king's highway is this truth, this Bible that broken down in its correct terms. The proper doctrine is the king's highway, because even when you go up to the king's highway, It reminds me of the Messiah saying to his elect, come up thither in Revelation 11, chapter 11, verses 12 and 13. Come up hither to those chariots, because that's the fruition of the coming of the kingdom of the Lord. All right. So where am I at? Let me start at 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. So this is the punishment for rebellion. This is the punishment for rebellion. You will not go up into the land where the Lord have promised. You will not get the inheritance on the first go round for rebellion. All right. I done kind of lost my spot. I'm talking. I'm getting into it. I'm getting stirred up. Oh yeah, I'm at 23, verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. Yeah, so Aaron shall be gathered to his people and die there. So it says Aaron, strip Aaron of his clothing and give it to Eleazar. So Eleazar is another way of saying Lazarus. So that's the same Lazarus of Luke 16, talking about the rich man and Lazarus, where Lazarus eventually goes to the bosom of Abraham, where he is in power, and the rich man sees into the future of Lazarus being on top and the rich people being on the bottom. Okay. And this is also synonymous with the John 11:43 Lazarus. All right, we're going to read that. This John chapter 11:43. And when thus had spoken, this is Yahushua, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. Verse 44, and he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound with a napkin. Yahushua saith unto them, loose him and let him go. So this is talking about the changing of from our captivity, because even when you read it, even when what I just previously read in verse 44 of John chapter 11, it says, and he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot. And who is bound right now? Israel is bound because we are in captivity. So when you look at these things, it says that it describes Lazarus being in a state of captivity. He's in a dead state, but his hands are bound and his feet are bound, just like how somebody in captivity would be, with grave clothes, and his face was bound with a napkin. So when you bind somebody's face with a napkin, you're blinding them also, because you're putting they're blind. They don't have a good vision. They don't have good vision because the napkins is over their eyes and on their face, and they have grave clothes on. So this is Yahushua taking us out of this dead state and making us like Lazarus, taking us up out of this rebellious state, out of this state where we're bowing to false gods and, you know, those golden calves that Aaron made, that the congregation had Aaron made. So this is more so a metaphor saying, okay, we're going to take that old Israel, we're going to have this new Israel, all right? All right. So like, it may be a little loud. I'm getting a little excited. You know, so it more so signifies the dying off of rebellion and Israel receiving their new covenant pursuant to Jeremiah 31:31, and receiving their inheritance, which is under the rule of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. So, where was I at? Verse 25, take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up into Mount Hor and strip Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered unto his people and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron died there in the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel. So yeah, some of y'all's gonna mourn when y'all see y'all Aaron get stripped and have to die, because if he ain't or if they're not preaching Yahweh Yahweh Shai, and they know Yahweh Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they're gonna get handled just like Aaron, and then you will not get to see the promised land that the Lord has already set up for us. So you will not get to see it on this side. You will not get translated into those chariots. You will die on this side, and Eleazar will rise up in your stead. So, Adawan Ratazada's lesson was edifying, Lord willing. And Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Tawada, Waha Rakakadash, Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and Wabba Babal.